Hello. For those of you watching this video, this is my first video. I would love to have a nice intro for everybody, but I don't want to put my face on the internet. So we're just going to start by staring at my tools. Basically going to be doing introductory videos for how to do electrical work to try and help anyone working on their house or anyone that just needs a little bit of info to get a project done. I've been doing this for 6 years now and know hardly anything, so I might be able to help, probably not, but we'll see. Anyways, I want to get started with what we're going to do today. Today, I'm going to show you how to remove and reinstall a receptacle. These are the 3 tools that you would most likely need, and that's probably up for debate, but right here we have our 11-in-1, so we can adjust it. Right now it has a Phillips tip on it, or it actually has a flathead, but you could change it to a Phillips tip, star bit, square tip, just the tip. This is our plug tester. This will actually show you if you have a open ground, open neutral, so on and so forth. We can get into that later. But for now, it's just going to be used to tell us if there is power at the receptacle so that you don't get electrocuted, which is no fun. These are our wire strippers, Milwaukee. I mean, you can use scissors, a knife, a skill saw, pretty much anything, but today we're going to use these. So yeah. This is the plug that we are going to be removing and reinstalling today. I do want to clarify, I was absolutely joking. Do not use a knife or a skill saw to trim your wires. Have a pair of wire strippers. Don't have to be these ones, but just wanted to clarify. So just to identify what we have here, this is obviously a screw. This is the faceplate, and this is the actual receptacle, which is very loose. So what we're first gonna do is take our magic plug tester, plug it into the wall. And when you see, once it's plugged in, you have 2 lights on the right-hand side. Well, actually the one in the middle and the one on the right that lights up if there is in fact power. You remove it, no lights. Plug it in, lights. That means that there is power there. So obviously it's on. You don't want to remove it while it's energized, because if you touch the wrong thing, it's not going to feel too good. So we want to go to our panel, turn off the circuit, and while we're turning it off, hopefully your panel's labeled. And once you turn it off, these lights will be off, and that will indicate that the power is gone, and you can safely remove the faceplate and the receptacle and begin changing it. Next, you want to locate your electrical panel. I'm doing this in real time too. The phone's not mounted on anything, so I'm trying to keep the phone as still as possible, but no guarantees. So locate your electrical panel. Hopefully it's in an accessible spot, not in Harry Potter's nook under the staircase. And you never want to have things stacked up in front of your panel. That way it's accessible. So make sure you keep a clear space just like I have. Go ahead and open your panel. You could have a lot more breakers. You could have less breakers. It just depends on what you have and the size of your home. This will tell you, hopefully, what you're trying to turn off. So I found living room plugs. I'm in the living room. It's a very good chance that that's going to be the circuit I need to turn off, which is right there. So we're just going to go ahead and, turn this one off, not that one. And then as you can see, you go down to our plug, that light is off now. Turn it on. Light's on. Turn it off. Lights off. All right, now you can go back to your receptacle, ensure that both of these lights are off. You can remove your plug tester, grab your flathead screwdriver, and remove the screw from the center of the faceplate. Then you want to get a Phillips tip. You can still use a flathead, but it's a little bit easier to get the top and bottom screw out with a Phillips tip. Take out the screw on top and the one on the bottom. Now, when I pull these out, I always like to grab right here, because even though we've ensured that it's off, if you grab it like that, for whatever reason, if something's funky or if it is on, That's a surefire way to get a nice jolt. So I always grab it right here, pull it out. Once you remove the receptacle, on one side, you're going to have brass screws. This is very important. And on that side, you have the black wire stabbed into the back. I'm gonna go over that in a second. And then on the other side, you have silver screws with the white wire. It's very important to remember. And then on the bottom, you obviously have your ground connected. So these are stabbed into the back because they're 14 gauge wire, so the receptacle will take it. This will cause a massive debate, but I do not like stabbing into the back if I'm doing work on my own home. I just don't think that it's very reliable, so I prefer to remove these from the back when I'm changing outlets or installing them. If you're doing production housing, it's different because you need to be efficient, you need to be fast, so stabbing into the back is acceptable, but I prefer to put them on the actual terminals. Now, removing the stab ends from the back properly is annoying. You could obviously cut these off, but then you're gonna leave exposed copper sticking out of the back, which it could potentially touch the ground in there and short out. So you wanna grab the wire, the ground wire you can just remove with the screw. And work it out. And then you have left just your receptacle and wires sticking out of the wall. Now with your conductors, make sure everything's pushed back so that you have room to put the receptacle in once you're done. Since we've basically destroyed the end of these, what I'm gonna do is trim them. Cut that off right there. Cut that off right there. Cut that off right there. So now you have your ground, your hot, and your neutral. What you wanna do is make a loop for your ground. And then grab your neutral or your hot first, does not matter. And you wanna strip back probably about a 1/2 inch of wire showing. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't wanna do too much and you don't wanna do too less. Same thing with your hot. And then you also wanna make a hook, a loop, whatever you wanna call it. Just like that. Same thing with the hot. Now you're ready to hook up your receptacle. Always want to start with the ground first. It's the safest way to go about things. We can get into depth in that in other videos, but for now, trust me. So after you hook up your ground, I swear I've done this before. Right on the ground screw. Then you want to go ahead and grab your neutral. And again, the silver side of the receptacle is the side that you want for your neutral wire. And then that hook, you see how I just slid it in there under the screw? And you always want to have the hook going the same direction as the way that you're going to tighten the screw. Turn it over. And on the other side, we have brass screws, which will be for our hot. Same thing. Go with the direction that you're going to be tightening the screw. So on this one, we're going to have the hook facing up. Go ahead and hook it up under the screw. And when you're tightening it, you want it to be, let's see, what do I call this? A little bit above firm, I would say. And now you have your receptacle hooked up. As a safety precaution, I always like to take electrical tape, and I will grab the receptacle once I've hooked it up and tape around the sides. That way, the next time you pull it out, you're almost guaranteeing that the terminals will not touch anything metal or your fingers. It's not guaranteed, but it just makes it a little bit safer for the next time that you pull it out. Or if you're installing it into a metal box, it helps prevent the metal from touching the side of the box and shorting out. So once you have it taped up, not over the screw, ideally. Now we're ready to install the plug back into the wall. Now, you can always just do this. Wouldn't recommend it, because then the wires don't get folded in there very clean. So you want to take the wires, kind of push down, and then fold them up. That way they're not bent at the terminals, and you have more cleanliness, I guess you could say. You want it to kind of sit in there freely, not forced. If it's forced, that means that the wires aren't clean and tucked in properly, or the box is overfilled. And then you want to take your Phillips tip, start the bottom or the top. Start the other side. And slowly tighten both sides until it sits into the wall clean. Once it's snug, you want to make sure that it's not wiggling, there's not a lot of movement. And then you can begin to install your faceplate. Now, when you install the faceplate, do not leave the screw like that. Be nice about it. Either have it like that or like that. I changed my mind. Have it like that. That way you have a clean looking install. Everything's at a 90-degree angle. And now that your receptacle is reinstalled, you can put your plug tester in. Should still be off. You can go back to your electrical panel, find the circuit that you turned off before you worked on it, which in our case was right here. Turn it back on. Check that both lights are good. Light in the middle, light on the right-hand side. Correct. If it'll focus. Check the top as well, just for good measure. And you're good to go. And that's it. That's how you remove and reinstall a receptacle or change a receptacle. I hope that that was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I plan to put out more videos in the future. I know the production quality wasn't that great in this one, but I'm sure it will improve as I continue making videos. And thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you learned something.